morning, everybody. Let's start today's topic. What will be our objective for today's class? Today, we will discuss about sublimates. That what are sublimates? What are some examples of sublimates? Next will be the latent heat. In latent heat, we will discuss about two topics: latent heat of fusion and latent heat of melting. Or we can say that latent heat of vaporization. Next will be, we will discuss about the temperature scales. Temperature scale means which scale we are using to measure the temperature, right? So before coming to today's topic, let's have a quick recap. We have already discussed about the process of sublimation. That what is sublimation? So we can say that change of state of a gas directly into solid and vice versa. Means the solid directly convert into gas and the gas directly convert into solid. So this process of interconversion of state is known as sublimation. We have already discussed about sublimation. So today we are going to read about some sublimates. That what are sublimates? The solids which directly convert into gas without passing through liquid state are called sublimates. In simple words, we can say that the solids which pass through the process of sublimation from solid to gas and gas to solid, these are known as sublimates, right? So there are some examples of sublimates like naphthalene. You are having naphthalene balls at home, which your mother used to kill the moth in woolen clothes, right? So these are the balls of naphthalene. Naphthalene is the example of a sublimate. You will see that naphthalene ball directly disappear from solid to gaseous state and they will never pass through the liquid state. Next is camphor. Camphor, you can say kapoor. If you have seen at your home, that will also from solid convert directly into gas. Next is ammonium chloride. This is a white color solid available in our lab. I will show you when you join the school. Dry ice, that is called solid CO2. That is also the example of sublimate. And iodine. Iodine is a dark purple color element. It is also present in our lab. So all these are the examples of sublimates, right? Means from solid they directly convert into gas. So how we can say that all these are the examples of sublimate without any proof? So we are going to conduct one activity to show the process of sublimation. For that, you can take any of the above substance. Either you can take naphthalene, you can take camphor, you can take ammonium chloride, right? So let's start this activity. Take some camphor or ammonium chloride, right? Crush it and put in a china dish. Uh, this is a white color ball which is known as the china dish. We have taken camphor into the, or we have taken ammonium chloride into the china dish. Next, put an inverted funnel over the china dish. Inverted funnel, you have seen the funnel. We have to invert the funnel on the china dish. means cover that ammonium chloride with inverted funnel. This is the inverted funnel, right? Now put a cotton plug on the stem of the funnel. Here we will take a chilled cotton which is dipped in cold or chilled water. We will close the mouth of the funnel with the help of this chilled cotton, right? Now we will put this apparatus on a tripod stand. This is the stand on which we have put the china dish. Now heat this china dish, or we can say we have to heat the ammonium chloride with the help of a burner. When we heat it slowly, what will happen that the solid ammonium chloride directly convert into vapors. It will not melt. Not melt means it will not come into the liquid state. From solid, it will directly convert into vapors. When these vapors come contact with the cold, you can say, cold tube of the funnel, then they will again convert into solid. What we can say, when the vapors become cool, they again convert into solid and stick to the wall of the inverted funnel in the form of a powder. It means this activity shows that ammonium chloride from solid convert to gas, and the gases when come to the contact of cool surface, they again change into the solid, and it will never pass through the liquid state. Hence we can say that ammonium chloride is the example of a sublimate. We can perform this activity by taking naphthalene, camphor, ammonium chloride. They will also give the same result, right? So these are some examples of sublimates. We can perform this activity. We will perform this activity in our lab when we rejoin the school. Okay. So our next topic is latent heat. Have you heard the word latent? Latent heat means actually hidden heat, which is not shown by any apparatus, right? Or which is not shown by any device, hidden, which is not visible. What is actually latent heat? The heat energy which is used to break down the force of attraction between the particles of a matter is known as the latent heat. The word latent means hidden, which is not visible, right? That's why we have given the name latent heat. So here we can say that the heat energy which is used to break down the intermolecular force. It means if you are having a solid and you want to break down the intermolecular force between the particles, you will provide some heat. You will heat it so that the solid will convert into liquid. And if you want to break down the intermolecular force between the liquid particle, again you will heat so that the force will break down and the liquid will change into the gaseous state. Simply we can say that this is the heat which is provided to any state of matter to convert one state into another state. So this heat is known as the latent heat. For better understanding this concept, let's perform one activity. For this activity, what we will do, I am going to show you one diagram. Here we have to take a beaker. Take one beaker. Now put some ice in it. Ice is the example of a solid state, right? So we have to take a beaker, put some ice. Now arrange one thermometer inside the beaker. Next question is, what is a thermometer? So thermometer is a device which is used to measure the temperature, or we can say it is a device which is used to measure the heat provided to this container, right? So thermometer is used to measure the temperature. Next, we will put this beaker on a tripod stand and put this apparatus or arrangement on a iron stand. Now, what we will do, we will heat the ice slowly with the help of a burner. Means we have to put the flame of the burner slow so that the heat will be provided to the ice. One thing is that when the bulb of the thermometer touches the ice pieces, it will show the reading 0 degrees Celsius, right? It will show the temperature 0 degree Celsius. Now, you are heating from the outside. You just continue heating from the outside. What you will observe that slowly the ice is changing into water. Ice is changing into water on heating. This process is called melting. Simply you can say that ice is melting. But the thermometer is showing the same reading, 0 degrees Celsius. The temperature is not shown by the thermometer, or you can say that the temperature is not increasing in the thermometer though you are heating from outside. What does it mean? Means you are heating from outside, you are providing heat, but the thermometer is not showing that heat. It is not showing increase in temperature. Then where is the heat actually going? Please listen it again. My question is, if you are heating from outside and thermometer is not showing the temperature rise, then where is the heat actually going? Very good for changing the state of matter. Okay, I am going to repeat this activity because some of the students are asking it again, right? Listen, what we have to do, we have to take one thermometer, one beaker, one tripod stand, and one burner, right? Put the ice pieces into the beaker. Now arrange the thermometer in the beaker with the help of an iron stand. Put the beaker on the tripod stand and try to heat the ice, right? Means with the help of a burner, you have to heat the beaker very slowly. Now what you will observe, you will see that the ice is melting. Melting means ice is changing into water. But the temperature is not increasing in the thermometer. The thermometer will show 0 degree till the complete ice will melt, or you can say till the complete ice will convert into liquid. The temperature will not rise in the thermometer. It means the heat which you are providing from outside is used by the ice particles to break down the intermolecular force and convert the state from solid to liquid. It means the heat is actually going in the conversion of state, or you can say the heat is actually going in the melting process. Ice use this heat to break down the intermolecular force, right? Now, this is known as latent heat, hidden heat, because you are providing the heat, but this heat is not shown by the thermometer. It means this heat is not visible in the thermometer. So this heat which is we are providing from outside is known as latent heat, right? One more thing, now what will happen, that the complete ice will convert into water, right? Now you will observe that when you are heating, the reading will increase in the thermometer. Now the thermometer will show rise in the temperature when you heat it, right? What happened at 100 degrees Celsius? When the thermometer will show the temperature 100 degrees Celsius, then you will observe that again the reading will stop. There will be no any rise in the thermometer reading till you are heating from outside. So where is the heat now going? Now the heat is absorbed by the water molecules and convert into vapors. Means liquid is changing into vapors. Liquid is changing into gaseous state, because 100 degree is the boiling point. So what we can say, that this heat energy is used in the process of boiling, and it is not shown by the thermometer. So we can say that this is the latent heat, means hidden heat, right? So by using this activity, what we can say, that what is latent heat of fusion or melting? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid. Suppose if you have taken 1 kg of ice, right, into liquid at its melting point. 0 degree is the melting point of ice. So till the complete ice will melt, the thermometer will show the 0 degree temperature, right? So we can say the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid into liquid at its melting point is known as the latent heat of fusion or latent heat of melting. Same, we can also write latent heat of fusion or melting, right? Next, now at 0 degree, what you will observe? At 0 degree, there are two states of water. One is ice, right? And second is water, because ice is changing into water. Until the complete ice will change into water, the temperature remain 0 degree. But because ice have absorbed some hidden heat and convert into water, it means the water at 0 degree, though the temperature is 0 degree, but it have some extra heat in the form of latent heat of fusion. Listen it again. At 0 degree, ice is there and water is there. But water has some extra heat in the form of latent heat, right? So we can say if we will use ice or water at 0 degree for cooling, which will create more cooling? The answer will be ice, because already ice have some less heat, so it can absorb extra heat from the surrounding. So we can say ice create more cooling rather than water at 0 degree, right? Next is at 100 degrees Celsius, we can see water and steam, both the states. At 100 degree, we can see steam and water, both the state are possible. But when the water convert into steam, it will use some extra heat in the form of latent heat of vaporization. It means though the water and steam both are at 100 degrees, same temperature, but which will create more severe burns? You can't answer. Okay. Steam will create more severe burns because steam have some extra heat in the form of latent heat of vaporization. So what we can say that latent heat of vaporization means the amount of energy required to change 1 kg of a liquid into gas at its boiling point, right? So this is known as the latent heat of vaporization. Means the liquid is changing into gas at its boiling point. And the heat required for that is known as the latent heat of vaporization. Next, we are moving towards our last topic, and that is temperature. Recently, we have discussed that thermometer is a device which is used to measure the temperature. So, what is actually temperature is? Temperature is a measure of how hot or cold a body is. Means if we want to measure the thermal energy or the heat energy of a body, we will use a physical quantity that is known as the temperature. In simple words, we can say temperature is used to measure how hot or cold a body is. Now, all of you know that to measure the distance, you will use meter, kilometer, centimeter, millimeter. In the same way, to measure the temperature, we will use 3 scales, and these are degree Fahrenheit, degree Celsius, and Kelvin. Kelvin is actually the SI unit, which is specially used in lab works, right? And in our daily experiments, we just use the Celsius scale. We also use the Fahrenheit. So these are 3 scales to use the temperature: Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. We can interconvert these scales. Interconvert means we can convert Fahrenheit into Celsius, Celsius into Fahrenheit, Celsius into Kelvin, Kelvin into Celsius, and Kelvin into degree Fahrenheit, right? And for that, we have some important formulas here. Like, if we want to convert degree Celsius into degree Fahrenheit, then we will use the formula that F means Fahrenheit is equals to 9 by 5 multiply by degree Celsius plus 32. This is the formula to convert degree Celsius into degree Fahrenheit. Let's take one example to understanding it in a better way. For example, if you want to convert 37 degrees Celsius 37 degrees Celsius into degree Fahrenheit. So what you will use? 9 by 5 into, instead of degree Celsius, you will use 37 because you want to convert 37 degree, right? Celsius plus 32. According to board mass, when you solve it, you will get 66.6 and plus 32. And the answer will be 98.6. Do you know what is your body temperature? Your body temperature is 37 degree Celsius. So if you measure your body temperature with the help of a degree Celsius thermometer, the reading will be 37 degrees Celsius. But if you will measure the same temperature with the help of a degree Fahrenheit thermometer, then your answer will be 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. It means both the answers are right. If anybody asks you that what is your body temperature, you can say 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, right? Next is, if you want to convert degree Fahrenheit into degree Celsius, means we are just opposing the first scenario, right? So the formula will be Celsius is equals to 5 by 9 and bracket F means degree Fahrenheit minus 32. Simply we have derived this formula from the above formula, right? So let's convert 77 degree Fahrenheit into degree Celsius. So we can write that degree Celsius is equal to 5 by 9 bracket 77 means Fahrenheit and minus 32. You will get 5 by 9 because bracket is there, so you have to solve it first. Okay, you will get 45. 77 minus 32 means 45. Now when you cut 9 with 45, you will get 5. 9 5s are 45. Now 5 into 5 is 25. You will get the answer 25 degree Celsius. So in this way you can convert degree Fahrenheit into degree Celsius. And the last one is, you can convert Kelvin into Celsius or Celsius into Kelvin. For example, convert 100 degrees Celsius into Kelvin. The formula is, whatever the degree Celsius is given, you just add 273.16. 273.16. So here you are converting 100 degree. So take 100 plus 273.16 and your answer will be 373.16. Means 100 degrees Celsius is equal to 373